Forest Minister says there is no illegal logging in Papua New Guinea. Port Moresby City experiences first heavy rain in months. And the Pepes take home silver from Singapore.
This is National EMTV News with Lorraine Genia.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. This is Sunday's news. It finally rained in Port Moresby after a long, dry season. Residents of Port Moresby said it was a blessing in disguise that will ease water rationing and provide water supply to city residents. Eric Harupma with this report.
Residents of Port Moresby were very fortunate to receive an amount of downpour yesterday after the continuous dry spell. They said the rain will be an advantage that will increase water level at the Sirenumu Dam and provide adequate water supply to residents and ease water rationing.
We are now happy because of the rain and we are expecting some more rain.
City residents were happy to have received rainfall for the first time after a prolonged drought period. According to Weather Service report, Port Moresby is expecting few showers with possible thunderstorms tonight. With the continuous dry spell for 7.5 months, Port Moresby has received substantial amount of rainfall yesterday. Now this has increased many water levels by 5 meters. Residents said this is an advantage for them. Eric Arupma, National EMTV News.
The Public Enterprise Ministry maintains that they have met with the PNG Communications Workers Union to discuss their grievances over the spill and fill retrenchment exercise. This statement follows accusations by the union's General Secretary that Minister Ben Micah is yet to meet with them over this issue. However, the statement clarifies that the meeting was initiated by the minister between officers of the Ministry, Telecom Management and the union. Furthermore, the ministry will continue to monitor the progress of this issue through the courts and industrial arbitration, but will refrain from any further interference. With 5 days remaining till Christmas, the 15-metre Christmas tree outside of Vision City Mega Mall in Port Moresby was on fire today. The cause of the fire is yet to be established. However, according to bystanders, they saw the flames started from the top of the tree. Bystanders claim the fire started due to an electrical fault that ignited the flame. The Christmas tree is one of several erected around the city to celebrate the festive season. National EMTV News continues after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Forest Minister Douglas Tomuriesa today responded to Gary Juffa's statement in one of the dailies regarding the illegal logging in Papua New Guinea. In the case of logging in Oro, the minister said the company in question had breached the Environment Act of 2000. Marilyn Diaukatam reports.
Forestry Minister Douglas Tomuriesa says before making accusations and false claims, people, especially governing heads, must not raise environment issues if there is no hard evidence.
The governor of Oro, I'm very concerned with the allegations that he has raised. I know he has to know that Yamagaipa has got Yamagaipa Block 1A, Block 2A, Block 2B, Block 3C, and then you have Yamagaipa Block 3. Yamagaipa Block 3 is yet to be awarded. It's yet to be awarded. They're confusing themselves with Yamagaipa Block 1C and Yamagaipa Block 3.
He said teams from the Prime Minister's Office, Labour Department, MVIL, Immigration, SEPA, and Lands Department, escorted by police and the PNG Defence Force, went to Oro to survey the site. The end report states there is no illegal logging in Oro province.
I really do not know where the story about illegal logging is coming out from Yamagaipa. However, backed by this report that came from independent organizations to say that Forest's report of no illegal logging, to confirm that, is something that should be reported, because that is the type of information.
Meanwhile, the shutdown of Wera Base Camp in Yamagaipa was due to environmental concerns issued by the Environment Director. The Environmental Protection Order states the company had breached the Environment Act 2000 by failing to apply for an environment permit prior to expanding the logging operation to include operations at the Wera base camp. The minister says the local governments must support the work of the Forest Authority and the investors. They build infrastructures like roads and bridges that the government cannot afford. Marilyn Daukatam, National EMTV News.
The education sector in Manus province is under pressure to produce quality homegrown students who can continue to other tertiary institutions on the PNG mainland. This comes as Director for Port Moresby Institute of Matriculation Studies, Norman Sike, announced that the number of elite Manus people working outside the province is rapidly declining. Mr. Sike said government assistance alone is not enough to address the lack of quality education.
The education of its human resource is important for the small island province. The education sector in Manus is therefore under pressure to deliver and produce quality homegrown students that can be competitive and continue to other tertiary institutions. Shown in the CS1 media footage is Ecom Secondary School outside Lorengau town. It's one of the top schools in the province, with 90% of its teaching staff qualified with university degrees in education. Founder and director of Port Moresby Institute of Matriculation Studies, Norman Sike, spoke during the Ecom Secondary School graduation and emphasized that the education sector must be protected and supported.
In Manus province, education at passing local school, it is our livelihood.
Concerns have been raised that the number of students from the province entering higher learning institution has dropped in the last 15 years. To address this, Mr. Sike believes government assistance alone is not enough. He took it upon himself to deliver desktop computers to the two mission-run secondary schools, Ecom Secondary and Papitalai Secondary School. Ecom Secondary School Board Chairman Chawai Konabe thanked Mr. Sike for his foresight and contribution to education in Manus.
Mr. Sike was our guest speaker, and he made this commitment that he was going to give us those sets of computers. And today we have witnessed that that has been fulfilled. A bit of thank you.
With qualified teachers and support from people like Mr. Sike, the future of the students and the province now looks promising, putting something back into their communities and addressing the issues. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
Staff of the Lalokui Psychiatric Hospital have begun a sit-in protest because of the shortage of healthy water supply to the facility. The problem has in fact been going on for the last 15 years and has worsened as more settlers move in. Now, with the El Niño taking its toll on the community's water supply, staff of the psychiatric hospital are forced to take drastic measures.
Staff said they have been patient for far too long. They said they've had to walk close to 500 meters every day to fetch large containers of water because it was safer for patients to consume.
For drinking purposes, there was a running flowing some years back, and that system has been disturbed by the increasing number of settlers along the Ritana Way, has interrupted the system very much, and the victims today are the staff of Lalokui Hospital.
Although they also rely on the supply of bore water to the facility, it is not reliable. At times they've had to wait for up to a day for the bore water to fill up enough for it to be distributed to the hospital and residential houses. Following the corrosion of pipelines in the facility as well as in staff houses, tests were conducted proving that the water is not safe for human consumption due to the high levels of calcium in the water.
Just spoiled all our pipes, our pots, and houses, everything, shower rooms, our tiles in the shower room, everything. Yeah, it was also tested. And I believe the test results are with the management, tested for consumption purposes.
Ramos said it was costly to order salts every month to neutralize the pure bore water.
About 5 or 6 years, it was about 20,000 a month. 20,000 a month to, have the, calcium breaking down with the salt. So later, we couldn't have the capacity to continue. So we stopped some 5 or 6 years ago. So
They had opted to switch to water cart supplies, but that put a huge strain on their limited budget.
to fill all 7 tanks within the hospital premises, it's about 15,000 kina a trip. So if we have like 3 trips or 2 trips, the hospital is spending about 45,000 kina.
They have sent home at least 3/4 of their patients, leaving only 29 under care. At the moment, they are not accepting any more admissions and may be forced to close down if this problem persists and nothing is done to resolve it. Melissa Goviro, National EMTV News.
And Trukai Sports is up next with news on the PNG Pepes and the Telecom National Soccer League. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Now, the Pacific MMI PNG Pepes have claimed the runners-up title of the gold medal match between Northern Ireland in the 2015 Netball Nations Cup. Northern Ireland led from the opening quarter and was ahead of the Pepes by 11 goals at half-time. The 52-41 win over Papua New Guinea seals Northern Ireland's second Nations Cup win in 6 years. In the bronze medal playoff, Asian and Southeast Asian champion Singapore defeated Botswana in what was described as a nail-biting 44-43 win. While PNG returns with a silver medal, captain and leading shooter Lua Rikis was also named most valuable player in the tournament. Over to soccer now, and it was a tough match yesterday afternoon at the Sir Ignatius Kilaga Stadium between visitors Medang FC and home team Ley City Dwellers. Both teams displayed strong defence with a 0-0 draw. In the opening minutes, Medang FC test the defending champions Ley City Dwellers to their limits. The first half saw exchange of balls from both sides before going into half-time, with both teams yet to score. In the second half, Medang FC came out too strong, but the strong defence from the home team kept the visitors from scoring. Both teams were held to a 0-0 draw. Well, in the Southern Conference of the Telecom National Soccer League, Irma FC took on FC Port Moresby here in Port Moresby. Jeremy Moggy with the highlights.
Slight delay by 20 minutes. Richard Sios making his way back into the first 11 for FC Port Moresby after 2 weeks out, and Philadelphia Vela making his debut. No changes for Irma. Steven Munek staying faithful to last week's side. Anil Passam with a heavily weighted ball too hard for Nathan Steven as FC Port Moresby looked to gain advantage. But Irma's Michael Gitta was the first with a clear shot on target. FC Port Moresby continued to dominate the early exchanges, but failed to meet important crosses, testing their patience. But 20 minutes in, and an innocuous challenge left Neil Hans on the ground. Left midfielder Toru Simoy continued his improving form, setting up Gitta, who alongside Poesi missed an open goal mouth. And in response, a Neil Hans cross saw Nathan James open on half an hour. While at the other end, Sam Poesi missed again from point blank. Striker Jamal Sito began to combine well with Nathan Steven early in the second half for FC Port Moresby. Sito, who continued to have tons of space on the right-hand side, failed on occasion to capitalize. And amidst confusion in the middle of the park, Neil Hans snuck off a shot that breezed past keeper Ben Kaya. 2 changes would be made by Irma late on, Toru Simoy replaced by Roger Kareva. Although Irma's defense did appear to come to a standstill. First Jamal Sito, then Jacob Sabua, as Nathan Steven went offside. While Russell Nirick's chip over Ben Kaya could have sealed it for FC Port Moresby. And that miss haunting as Roger Kareva equalized in the 90th minute. Albert Messelam allowing the corner to slip through his fingers for a 1-1 draw. Jeremy Moggy, National, MTV Sports.
And that concludes our sporting action for today. Your weather details when we come back.
Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
And your weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Few showers with possible thunderstorms and a top temperature of 32 degrees Celsius in Port Moresby. Showers and thunderstorms in Daru. Brief showers in Alotau and Kerma, and showers as well in Popondetta. In the Momase region, brief showers with a maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius in Ley City, brief showers in Madang and mostly fine in Wewak and Vanimore. And in the New Guinea Islands, showers and rain in Kimbe, Kokopo, Rabaul, Kavieng and Lorengau, and mostly fine in Buka. And lastly, in the Highlands region, evening showers, then morning fog in Mount Hagen, Mendi and Wabeg, brief evening showers, then morning fog in Goroka and Kundiawa. And that's the news, sports and weather for Sunday, the 20th of December 2015. Stay tuned for a look at changes happening in the Chimbu province. That's coming up next on tonight's Talk Picture program. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Lorraine Genya, wishing you a wonderful Christmas working week. Good night.